R2-D2 is the only character in Star Wars who's seen everything. The rise of the Republic, the fall of the Jedi, the birth of the Empire, and the endless wars that followed. He's been there for every triumph and every tragedy, and through it all, he never got his memory wiped. Which means, while everyone else moves on, R2 remembers everything. He remembers the day Anakin was still a boy with a dream. He remembers Padmé's death, the Jedi's betrayal, and the moment his best friend became the galaxy's greatest monster. He remembers Luke's hope, Leia's courage, and the endless cycle of peace turning to war. And after decades of loss, he's still here. Still loyal, still fighting, still carrying the ghosts of everyone he ever loved. Most people see R2 as comic relief, a funny little sidekick who zaps people and saves the day. But if you really think about it, he's the most tragic character in the entire saga. Because while everyone else gets to forget, he can't. R2 doesn't just serve masters, he serves history. Every beep, every scream, every spark is a memory trying to break free. He's the galaxy's conscience trapped inside a machine that no one listens to anymore. He's not just the glue that holds the story together, he's the last survivor of it. The only one left who knows how it all really began and how it all ends. In this video, we'll explore why R2-D2 is the saddest droid in the galaxy, how his story ties every era of Star Wars together, and why his silence might be the loudest tragedy of them all. R2-D2 is the happiest tragedy in Star Wars. The little astromech that could. The droid who always rolls in with a cheerful whistle and somehow saves the galaxy with a USB cable and pure attitude. But beneath those beeps and chirps is a story far darker than most people realise. Because R2-D2 isn't just a sidekick, he's a witness. A survivor of every era, every war, every heartbreak the galaxy ever endured. When you look at R2's timeline, it's almost cruel. He's there when Anakin is still good, when the Jedi are still standing, when hope feels real. And he's there when all of it burns. He sees the fall of the Republic, the birth of the Empire, and the death of nearly every friend he's ever had. And through it all, he remembers. Because unlike most droids, R2-D2 never got his memory wiped. He carries it all. Every mission, every betrayal, every loss. Imagine watching the people you love become monsters. R2 watched Anakin go from a boy he saved from Naboo to Darth Vader, the man who helped destroy everything they fought for. He saw Padmé die, Obi-Wan vanish, and the galaxy he helped protect turn into an empire of fear. And because he can't speak basic, he can never tell anyone what he saw. He's screaming in binary while the universe forgets. That's the cruelest part. R2's silence isn't just a feature. It's his curse. He's a vault of memories no one else remembers. Leia doesn't know he served her mother. Luke doesn't know he once flew beside his father. The people he helps are walking through the wreckage of his trauma, completely unaware of what that little droid has seen. And yet he never changes. He never turns bitter, never abandons hope. R2 keeps saving people who don't even realise they're part of a repeating tragedy. It's as if he's decided that if no one else remembers what was lost, he'll make sure no one else has to feel it. There's a heartbreaking irony to it all. R2 is the only one who truly understands the scope of Star Wars history, but he's also the one least able to share it. He's burdened with omniscience, but trapped in silence. A historian who can't speak. Even when Luke disappears, when the galaxy falls apart again, R2 just shuts down. Not out of malfunction, but out of grief. He's done his part, and the weight of centuries finally catches up. It's the quietest form of mourning imaginable. In a saga obsessed with chosen ones and destinies, R2-D2 is the one constant. Loyal, immortal, forgotten. He's the heart of Star Wars, and that heart has been breaking for decades. If you want proof that R2-D2 is the saddest droid in the galaxy, just look at how often he's replaced. Every era gets its own new droid, BB-8, D-O, even Chopper, and yet none of them carry the same weight. Because R2 isn't just a character, he's the thread holding the entire timeline together, and nobody in universe even realises it. The Jedi treated droids as tools, not friends. The Empire saw them as replaceable. Even the Rebellion, for all its ideals, rarely gave them credit for their sacrifices. But R2 kept going anyway. He wasn't programmed to love, yet he did. He wasn't built for grief, yet he carried it. That's what makes him tragic. Not that he's a machine, but that he feels like a man who can't stop losing everyone he loves. Think about how many times R2 watches history repeat itself. The Clone Wars and the Galactic Civil War are nearly identical conflicts. Corrupt leaders, manipulated soldiers, and idealists turned killers. He's seen it before and he'll see it again. It's like being stuck in an infinite rerun of the same nightmare. Even his relationships echo that cycle. He starts with Anakin, a reckless pilot with too much hope and too little wisdom, and later follows Luke, who becomes the same kind of reckless dreamer. R2 doesn't just serve masters, he serves patterns. He knows how it ends, and he does it anyway. Because maybe in his own mechanical way, he's still holding out for a different result. That's what separates R2 from every other droid in Star Wars. He's not naive. He's aware. He's seen how hope dies and how empires rise, and he still chooses to fight. That's not programming. That's faith. But that faith costs him. In The Force Awakens, R2's self-imposed sleep is often played off as a plot device. But think about what it really means. He shuts himself down during the age of the First Order, the third galactic war he's lived through. It's exhaustion disguised as standby mode. The galaxy has looped one too many times, and even the bravest droid can't take it anymore. When he finally wakes up, it's because of Luke's map, one last chance to bring back a fragment of the family he's lost. But by then, Luke is broken, Leia is grieving, and Han is gone. The reunion he fought for doesn't bring joy, it brings closure. R2-D2 doesn't need dialogue to tell us he's sad. You can feel it in his timing, his pauses, his quieter beeps. He's a veteran of 100 wars, pretending to be a mascot. And the most haunting thing is, he'll outlive them all. Again. What makes R2-D2's story so quietly devastating is how invisible his suffering is. The galaxy moves on, new heroes rise, new wars begin. And R2 just keeps rolling forward, carrying everyone's ghosts with him. He's the emotional backbone of a saga that never acknowledges him as anything more than comic relief. But if you really look, Star Wars leaves clues about how much he matters. When Leia records her message in A New Hope, it's not random that she chooses R2. Subconsciously, she's trusting the same droid her mother once relied on. When Luke calls him old friend, it's not just affection, it's destiny. The Force keeps bringing R2 to the centre of every turning point in history, like it knows he's the only one who remembers how it all began. Even his design reflects that burden. Unlike C-3PO, who's constantly rebuilt and reprogrammed, R2's core never changes. He's a relic of the past trapped in the present, a symbol of loyalty in a universe defined by betrayal. His body may be metal, but his memories are human. And what's even sadder is how the newer characters treat him. Rey barely knows him, Finn never even speaks to him, and Poe treats BB-8 as the new model. It's like the galaxy itself has forgotten the hero that made all their victories possible. The irony is brutal. R2 has saved more lives than anyone in Star Wars, and by the sequel trilogy, he's basically a museum piece. But maybe that's the point. R2's legacy isn't in being remembered, it's in making sure others get to move on, even if he can't. He doesn't need recognition, he just needs the galaxy to survive. That's what makes him one of the purest characters in the saga. He never asks for glory, he never stops trying, and he never gives up, even when he has every reason to. R2 is proof that heroism doesn't need prophecy or bloodlines, it just needs heart. In a universe where the Force decides fates, R2-D2 makes his own. He's not chosen, he chooses. He fights for life in a galaxy obsessed with death. And when you realise that this tiny droid has been the silent witness to every heartbreak in the Star Wars timeline, his cheerful beeps start to sound less like optimism and more like defiance. He's the saddest droid in the galaxy, but also its most hopeful.
Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that share button. My main channel is Critical Analysis Hub, where I post Star Wars content about the movies. My secondary channel is Critical Analysis Hub Plus, where I focus on the shows of Star Wars. And my third channel is Critical Analysis Hub XP, where I post comic books. Be sure to take a moment and check them out. Thanks, and may the Force be with you.